What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Den Dialogues. I'm your host, Ryan Martin, and in the house today, we've got one of my favorite comedians, Michael Yo. Michael is one of those dudes where he just makes you feel good. Like, you sit down next to him, and he's got a big smile on his face. He's super positive. Just his whole vibe is like gives off that positivity, and it just you leave feeling good. And his comedy is kind of the same way. It's like he comes out on stage and he just wraps everyone up and is like, "I got you. We're gonna laugh." And he crushed it at the Den this last weekend. He was nice enough to sit down and have this conversation, which I'm about to share with you. But I really, really want you to go check out his special, Snack Daddy. It's out on his YouTube channel right now, Michael Yo Comedy. And it's so worth it. His bit at the end, if you're over 40, you'll probably piss your pants laughing. If you're under 40, you will laugh too. And then you'll probably remember it and then laugh again when you're over 40 and piss your pants. I don't know. But man, Michael's a cool dude. Honored to have him. Honored to talk with him. And honored to share this with you. So thanks for joining, and like and subscribe if you get something out of this, and please enjoy Michael Yo.
Eventually I will do one here because I love the space.
We would love to have you,
it's
man.
It's one of my favorite spaces. I did one club and I shot a special there. It's Tempe Improv. I shot my last two specials there.
Oh yeah,
and
Snack Daddy was there.
Snack
right?
Daddy was there, and they're so nice. What they did to combat them not walking in the frame, they sold the drinks before, but they sold like fish bowls. So it was like at premium cost. So awesome. Then you could just sit at the table.
That's
and you
smart.
didn't need.
We have to get you know, creative like that. Yeah. Like fish bowl. What do you mean fish bowls?
Like a fish bowl full of alcohol, like a big fish bowl of whatever.
Yeah.
And they would just sit at the table because that one thing is the whole show. Like they can't finish that.
Do that, right? Thanks for that business.
Yeah,
idea,
no.
man.
It's not mine, but they do that at all the specials I shoot at.
I think it's better than going, hey, here's two. You have to order
100%.
two now, right? You got to make it fun.
Yeah.
So like do something
fish
like
bowls
here's this
are fun.
Crazy, huge. So maybe we'd have to invest in some
or if it's city, and it also has to look decent on camera too.
Oh,
when they do because I love crowd shots in my specials. Some comedians just want to stay. I love to show people interacting with the bits and stuff like that. So maybe something city themed that I don't know, but they use fish bowls. But it was very cool how they've helped me out twice. Joel and Matt over there have helped me out twice at the Tempe Improv, and it's gone great. It's basically I self-fund them, put it out myself, and they've changed my life. Like literally changed my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Changed your life, meaning like because you did it yourself, because you were able to do it like without breaking the bank.
Mm-hmm. Well, also,
because it can be expensive, right?
Yeah, like my last one was like $18,000, and just to say I'm gonna spend $18,000 on myself.
Yeah,
because you hope that in the long run, the ticket sales will come from it, like you did on my last one, and this one is at the beginning. So you really never know, even if you get hundreds of thousands of views or millions of views, you really don't know the impact of it till about 6 months later, because then people start to absorb it. They see you in their town, your name gets around. Like just now, people are starting to find out about my special. A lot of people, and that's awesome that it's something forever that keeps going. In my last special, the one before, I never thought, like a whole new audience just discovered that. It just blew up again for no reason. Yeah. So with YouTube, once they start finding you, they start finding everything.
Right.
And that's what I love. And you control, I don't want to say you control. YouTube can drop anybody anytime they want, but it's as much power as you can have that you feel like it's yours.
Yeah.
And you control everything. That's what I love, is controlling everything.
Yeah.
And giving the people the content they want the way you want to give it to them.
So then what's the benefit to doing like using a company? Because I know some people do this that like specialize in specials, but then how does that work? Do they own some of your...
So there's different ways to do it. So I'll give you 3 examples. If you don't have money and you want to get a special out, a company will, like an 800-pound gorilla, great folks over there, they will shoot your special. Right. They will edit it. They'll do everything for you, right? But then they'll put it out on their platform, and then they give you a rev share of it.
Yeah.
So it's out. 800-pound gorilla has a great base now. for releasing comedy. And then you have other examples where probably my next one, there's another way you could do it is what I never thought. I never thought did about 800 to 900,000 views on my channel. Then 800 Pound Gorilla put it out a year later and it got another 809, almost 1 million views. So it's kind of like you can take.
So contractually though, you were able to do that?
Yeah,
like it
because
wasn't.
I own it.
Okay.
So if you let someone else shoot it, you're in partnership with them. You don't fully own it.
Right.
Because you didn't pay any money. So my suggestion to anyone out there that wants to shoot a special, find the money, do it yourself, and then do a distribution deal with an 800 Pound Gorilla. Because I could have gone to 800 Pound Gorilla, bought my special for $18,000, go to 800 Pound Gorilla and say, I want y'all to release it. But in 3 months after y'all release it, I'm going to release it on my platform. So you get double exposure.
Right. So for them, it's they'll take that deal because they don't have to put up any money up front, and you're giving them this product that they're just going to put on their platform and going to start making money. Do they ever turn that down with anyone? I mean,
I don't know if they do, but to me, it's the best thing to do if you have money to spare for your special because you own it.
Right.
So if 800 Pound Gorilla says no, it's still going to come out on your platform, and you can still do distribution deals with other people, other platforms, other VODs. So how I do it is this one with Snack Daddy. Have it for 6 months, and this is not a deal. This is something just a handshake and a phone call. I'm gonna have it for 6 months, and in September they're gonna release it.
Okay.
So I wanted to see what I could do with it in 6 months.
Yeah.
My last one, I waited almost like 18 months. I waited not 18, like 14 months.
To see what you could do with it.
To see what I could do with it. And then I did the distribution deal, and then it took off again. But 800 Pound Gorilla at the same time, even though I own my special right now, we have a partnership in the audio. That's on Sirius and all the VOD, like all the Spotify and stuff. So we have a partnership with the audio right now because you need to get the audio out. That's where you make a lot of money. If Sirius picks it up, you can make a lot of money on Sirius.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing every comedian wants to be on is Sirius because they pay unbelievably well. Like I'm still getting checks.
I would not have thought that.
I'm still getting checks for $3,000-$4,000 a month from my last special. I never thought. Yeah, because. And here's my advice for comedians. This is what Sirius told me in comedy. If your album has cursing in it, goes into a pile that's Mount Everest high. If your special has no cursing in it, it's like an anthill because there's not a lot to choose from. So they keep replaying the stuff with no cursing over and over and over again. Because cursing, they got, just mounds and mounds and Mount Everest high.
Right. Used to be the opposite, right? Did it?
I don't know.
That popped into my head. I'm like, I wonder about like a while ago, right? Like, like I think it's like you used to be like if you were like risque and like then you're.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess you're a long time ago.
But my thing is now it's not like I'm trying to be Nate Bargatze or Jim Gaffigan, but it's kind of like that's where the money is. If you if that's your style,
right?
Like my style is I talk about comedy, talk
there's
about
a lot of family. Yeah.
So I cut out the cursing except a couple of instances, but I know I never thought is still playing in heavy rotation because it has such great bits with no cursing.
Is it no cursing or is there?
There's no cursing in it. I never thought my special.
Because Snack Daddy has a little bit of cursing.
A little bit of cursing.
Right? Like very small, like just a few words.
Just a few words at the end and stuff like that.
Does that knock you out of that category if you have anything?
It depends how they edit the audio. Because sometimes you can edit the audio before you send it to them, and it still, as long as it holds the value of the joke and it doesn't lose the joke. There was a couple jokes they couldn't put in to Sirius because it was too much. So I think I got like 4 or 5 clips of my new one on Sirius, no cursing. So those will pay you forever, So my advice is even if you have cursing in your special and you're going to shoot it a couple times, like I'm lucky because since I paid for it, I did my special 4 times. So I did it at a club, 2 one night, 2 the next night. And so I did one with no cursing. So that's my angle, and the audio wise, I turned that one in.
That way that's so smart.
So you cover the money on your audio, because that's where
you could have 2 versions.
Yeah,
right?
basically, in the second version, is literally, if it's great, you can put it on YouTube. If it's not, it's just for audio.
Yeah.
Because audio will play the heck out of it.
Right.
And that's where you make your money on a special.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess I guess it like would have to fit with your style.
100%.
Because there's some people that it's just not. I don't even know if they could limit themselves that way.
Shouldn't.
They wouldn't feel free or creative or.
And they shouldn't. For me, coming up, so I still feel like I'm coming up.
Yeah.
Because all my friends are selling out arenas, and I don't put that pressure on me at all. But I know I got a long way to go, and.
How long have you been
13 years.
13. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that long.
No, in our world,
no,
not at all. But I've moved extremely fast for only 13 years in the comedy industry. But I will say this, it's a thing where you're always trying to build. And my thing is, I don't really curse in real life. So I was like, well, why don't I just bring that on stage? Yeah. And it's fun for me because it's actually mentally challenging to try to do jokes that don't have cursing in it. Because I can always curse.
Yeah.
But
sure.
But I like to on stage is like, okay, how am I gonna say this without cursing? Even crowd work now, I'm doing it with more of not cursing, and it's actually been a lot of fun because you're like, because something will pop into your head like, I'm not gonna say that. What's the next word? And then you say that. Yeah. So crowd work is a lot more fun to me because it's a lot more challenging.
You guys think so quick.
Oh my god!
You gotta think quick, and it's the one thing I'm always like. I even get. Talking to comedians, I'm even like, I know you guys are your muscles up here in terms of communication have to be, and your awareness are so sharp.
I tell everybody it's the only time you can feel like a superhero.
Yeah,
honestly,
like on stage, like when you're
because it's the only time your senses are so high.
Yeah.
Like literally, you're saying something that. A comedy bit that in your mind, not even thinking about it. You're thinking about why isn't this lady laughing? You're hearing a drink order, and then you're thinking your mind is in other places.
Man. And you're a dude, and you're
and I'm a dude, and I'm multitasking.
I'd be like, joke. Right? I can't say anything else.
No, it's like 5 different things going on, and you're absorbing all of them at once, and you're like, wow, I can hear I can. Think about why that lady's not laughing. I can hear a drink order. I'm thinking about something else, but at the same time, you're saying your bit.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
And does that have you always been like that, or does that like build over time?
Well, I mean, when you first start, you're just scared, so that doesn't come into play. But once you get comfortable and know you're good at comedy. Yeah. Like to me, it started happening once I knew no matter what room, no matter who I went after, I could make people laugh. Then it's kind of like, okay, you're confident in that. And then it becomes, you always want to please the crowd. But then a lot of times once you get a certain level, you're doing it more for yourself, like challenging yourself.
Yeah.
Because a comic that has a great set can do that great set over and over and over the same way. Yeah. And get the same laughs in every city, but it's not challenging anymore. Yeah. It's kind of like just hitting the tape and hitting play.
Yeah. Do you like to challenge yourself? You're one
all
of those
the time.
People?
Like
it seems like it.
I try stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like last night, I did a theater in Minneapolis, and I tried a bunch of new jokes because I let the audience know because they want to see that stuff, and it's fun to. It's fun to see people see something that hasn't been worked out.
They want to be included in a way, and they feel included when you're like. When I hear comedians say, "Hey, do you guys? This is something new. Do you guys want to hear this? Do you want me to try this out?" And everybody's like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, like because it's like BTS. It's behind the scene.
Yeah,
like okay. And then what's great is they saw it first. And then they see it when it comes out maybe a year later on the special. They go, oh, my God, I was there when he first tried that. And then they got a story to tell.
They feel a part of it.
Yeah, they do. And that's the whole thing.
It's
making them feel part.
Thing, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So 13 years only in this game. What made you get into comedy? You were already in like entertainment.
I was in entertainment.
Bit, right?
I interviewed celebrities. And I was on, what got me into it was Chelsea Lately.
Okay.
And I was on Chelsea, and I was a reporter. So basically,
you do have that reporter look and voice, and
yeah. So basically, they would have 3 comedians shit on celebrities, and I would be the guy that go, well, actually, and I would give a fact about it. Okay. So I was the celebrity ass kisser. No, I would not make fun of celebrities. And also, I had to interview them. So that would be terrible to work for an outlet and you can't get interviews with the celebrities. So that was the whole shtick of the show. That was my shtick, is they could be like Lindsay Lohan, Dogger, all around the round table. And then I go, well, she did have a successful career. Let's be honest. How many people make X dollars doing this at whatever age?
Right.
And then all the table would be like, oh, shut up, Michael, celebrity ass. So that was my shtick.
Yeah.
Everybody, what Chelsea was so genius at, if you were a regular on the show, you had your shtick. You know, she called her, like Joe was gay, but he wasn't gay, of course. And then Heather Longboobs, Heather McDonald. Like, so everybody had their shtick, you know, and
it was very personal, and you get to know each character.
And then her audience knows what she's going to make fun of you about. Like, everybody knew when I came on, my job was to take everybody's hits because everybody was going to dog me on the show. But I was fine with that. And that's when I wasn't even thinking about being a comedian. I was just a reporter and everybody would shit on me. And I was like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. You know, because I was getting more exposure than I've ever gotten in my life because that show was, I tell everybody, it was like American Idol for comedians. You could be a retired comedian. You could be a comedian coming up. If you were on that show, you were selling out shows. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally, I barely started comedy and I was selling out shows.
Wow.
And I didn't even know how to do comedy.
Yeah.
And so what I did, I've always been smart business-wise. So what I would do is bring a headliner. I would put myself in the middle of the show and do like 10 minutes. But I would bring a whole show. Like, great people. Like, Darnell Rollins headlined.
But you're selling out the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I would come out.
You're not even headlining, really.
No, I was selling out shows. But I knew I couldn't headline.
Right.
So while I did this for a couple of years, my 10 minutes grew to 15, then 20, then 20. And as I got stronger and stronger, I started moving up the lineup till I became the feature of my own show. You know, so I would do 20 before the headliner. And then eventually over like 2-3 years, I started headlining it.
Yeah.
You know, but clubs literally on a Wednesday night, it was called Hot Mess Comedy. On a Wednesday night, we would sell out clubs across the country. We would go to a different city, and I would bring like 5 comedians. You know, because the clubs were closed. They were like, yeah, we'll give you a budget to fly people in. And everybody was from Chelsea, so it was fine.
Right.
You know, like, I remember Darnell Rollins headlined one of my shows, Chris D'Elia, Brent Morin at one time headlined my shows. It was like, I go through the pictures and go, oh my, Theo Von headlined my shows, Sarah Tiana headlined my shows. Yeah, so that was the time back then where I was selling out the shows, but didn't know how to do comedy. And if I could change something, well, I wouldn't change anything. I love where my life is and everything. Yeah. But I wish I knew how to do comedy back then.
Yeah.
Because I know
because you had the opportunity.
That was my opportunity to like Joe Coy, right? Joe Coy was hitting all strides in comedy. He was fantastic on stage when he got on Chelsea, and that blew him up. And then when he went to Netflix, it just was over. Like, I wish I was at that Joe Coy level on Chelsea, where when people came out to my show, I was headlining and crushing it. This would be a different conversation today.
Right.
But that wasn't my path because I just started. So it's kind of...
But you still made the best use of what you had there.
Yeah,
you know?
But when you look back, you're always like, man, if I was really good... Because I'm sure some people saw me and go, he's all right, and never came back. Yeah. Because I was just in the middle of the show.
Right. And you were still learning and growing as a comedian. I mean, you know, it's funny how the game changes. You know, you can... It's like now, if you blow up on TikTok, right? Like, oh, man, hopefully you've already started your comedy career, right? And you've already got a few years under your belt. But there's a lot of people in that same situation where
don't have it, because I've been called several times saying, hey, we got a Viner. This one, Vine was big. Oh, yeah. We got a person from Vine that only can do 10 minutes and show videos. You know, can you come in and like, can you feature for 45, 50 minutes? So basically do a whole set, and then they get paid all this money, which they should. They sold out the show. But I think a lot of people find out, oh, comedy's hard. Yeah. And even if I'm sure some of them got writers, even if they had writers, it's still hard because you got to know the timing, know how to say it. It's an art.
It's like if you were like suddenly like had somehow something you did got you to be a professional like NBA player, and like you weren't like you had to play on the team, and it's like you got to deliver, but you can't. You know,
it's kind of like if you were on TikTok. And on TikTok, you just made threes all day. You never missed a three. Oh, and they're like, okay, you're in the NBA now. And now you're up against 6'9" people that are blocking your shot, and you're totally crapping out. You're like, oh, I'm used to people not guarding me. Yeah. You know, like stand up, when you have all day to edit a video, you don't have that in stand up. You're on stage. A lot of people can fake it. get you to shows. But so many of those people have heard stories. It's like, yo, their shows suck.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes was great. But after that, and that's why I'm glad also for me, it's a slow process. You get better and better every year. You get better and better. Your crowd grows every year. So it feels like it's not just instant momentum and then it dies. Because Viners that were doing, they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
But the slow progression and to really work hard. I love comedy.
Yeah.
I love it.
You
so
can
much.
see it. You can see it when you talk about it.
Oh, it's the best thing. Besides my wife and family, I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like literally everywhere I walk, airports, shower, I think about bits. If I see something, I think about a bit. And it's the hardest thing to, not just because I do it, it is the hardest thing to do in the industry of entertainment. Yeah, because
I believe it.
You can't sing the same song for 30 years. You can't say the same joke for 30 years, except Bert. He does it for like that's an amazing bit that he can do, and he even jokes about it. That's why I'm joking about it. But that Russian bit is awesome, and people want to hear that.
I gotta check it out. I don't know that.
But
bit. Shamefully,
that's a one example where a joke people want to hear over and over. Most of the time, they hear a joke, they'll maybe give you one more time to hear it live.
Yeah.
They sing out, but then after that, you got to end it. Where you have artists, musical artists, that will have one song and sing it for the rest of their lives, and people still want to hear it.
Yeah.
Comedy, that's why comedy's so much harder. People, once it's done, people don't want to hear it again.
Yeah. How does that work with you, like getting new material? I mean, are you constantly, do you just like weave it into your routine? I mean, you're doing so many things. You're touring, you got a family, you got a young family, right? You got your podcast, you're doing other podcasts. Like, how do you find time to then write new material?
I think it's, you find it in the things you do. Like if I said something funny today, I'd be like, oh, let me, mentally, I jot it down. So literally you want to be doing a lot because that's where the inspiration comes from.
Right.
Like me and Sean, he's the guy that does all my video work and pictures. We were talking in the car about Canada and how are we mad at Canada? That's so ridiculous. They're the nicest people. And then we're just talking about it, and then some ideas started popping in my head. He was saying funny stuff. I was saying funny stuff. And I go, okay, I got something tonight I'm going to try out at the club.
Nice.
And it comes that fast. I don't know if it'll work, but in my mind it will work. So we'll see.
And then you try it. Do you usually have something you're trying in a show?
Every show.
Yeah.
Every show. I have 5 or 6 jokes I'm going to try out tonight. But the thing is, they're already to the point where they're decent. Like they're not going to be like silent when I say it. The only time they ever go silent if I think of something just then in the moment and haven't thought it out.
Yeah.
If I was like, oh, here's a tag that I've never thought about and I think it's going to be hilarious and then it's not, but then that's fun for the crowd too.
Yeah.
As long as you address it, like that didn't work. Or you have to address when you bomb. You can't just move on.
Right.
Because people are like, did you not just hear that you bombed? And you need to, once you address it, it's fine.
Like that didn't work. It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. And it's fun to see people fail.
Yeah.
Especially even comedians. It's fun. Like we love, like when people slip, we love. I mean, are you okay? And then we laugh.
Yeah.
Somebody falls down the stairs. I mean, it's just funny to us. When a comic says a joke that's not funny, other comedians think it's hilarious because they're dying on stage. That's hilarious. We went to a show last night. I saw a comic dying on stage. And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad, but it's so good because it shows that everybody has to go through that.
Yeah.
I've seen very successful people die on stage.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you learn and try out jokes. I've seen legends trying out jokes that are just falling flat.
Yeah.
And not a pin. You could hear a pin drop in the room.
I guess there's a like a real, it's like a safety net. It's like a safety line out. Like if you own what's happening, right? If you're bombing and you can own it a little bit, it can, one, break the ice for you.
Yes.
And maybe help you get back in. Because, I mean, what can you do if you're just like, you know what?
You don't want to address not bombing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't address it.
They know. The audience is smart, right? And then if you don't address it, you're kind of like telling the audience, maybe
this is good. This is good. Yeah. I'm not the problem. You are. It's like, nah, you're the problem. I saw a comic bomb so bad. And this was funny. I was in acting class. This is before I started comedy. He invited us out to the belly room at the Comedy Store. It was a bringer show, so we all came to support our acting friend, and literally it was the worst 5 minutes I've ever. And this is before I started comedy, where he had a mental breakdown on stage because it was so quiet. Where it was so bad, if someone laughed, you knew it was a courtesy laugh.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he broke down so bad. He started centipeding on stage for no reason. He was like, well, if you're not laughing at any of my jokes, he just started centipeding.
And he was,
And people were like, what are you doing, man? And still nobody laughed.
He
They were
was
like,
flailing so bad.
Dude, he just started doing the centipede on stage.
Man, I probably would have done that. You know, I can understand that mindset. He probably just started digging himself deeper and deeper.
Oh, it got deeper and
then
deeper.
he's just like, what do I do? I either I'm gonna sit here in silence, or I just have to try something. He didn't quit.
No, he didn't quit.
He could have run off stage. He's like, fuck it, I got to do the centipede.
So he did the centipede off stage. He just centipeded off stage, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, so he left. So that's how he.
No, I'm just saying he should have centipeded.
Oh, he should have centipeded off.
No,
that would have been a good ending.
That would ending. Like we would have laughed.
If he was like, you know what, guys, I fucked this so hard. Peace. And then
that's how centipede. We all would have laughed, but he did it in a way where he broke down on stage, and we all were like, oh, man. He was like, this ain't right. You guys don't think I'm like, he had a mental breakdown on stage. It just started centipeding.
Did he start blaming the audience?
He did, and that's where it really went.
That's
worse
the line, right?
Yeah.
If it look from the outside, not being a comedian, watching a lot of comedians, that's the one thing that I don't understand why there isn't a hard rule. Rule number one.
Yeah.
If it's not going your way, don't blame the audience.
It depends, though. It depends.
Okay,
It depends.
okay.
I'll tell you where. There are some markets you go to, maybe Chicago is one, where if you say something risque, you get the roller coaster sound. Oh, like they feel bad.
Okay.
You get this, and that's the worst sound for a comedian.
Why would, like, what? Give me an example.
I'll give you an example. If I made a joke about myself, about something I dealt with growing up,
okay,
like racism.
Yeah.
People are so they're not enjoying the joke of it. They're like, I feel bad for you. I feel so sorry for you. So they're not enjoying, like they're feeling sorry for you.
Now they're having to work a little bit in a way. They're being like, oh, okay, like they're not. But they're not enjoying themselves. They're not lost in the moment.
They're not, because they're worrying about, should I laugh at this?
Yeah.
Because this is something that happened to him and this is real, but we're in a comedy club.
Yeah.
Where other markets you go to, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Like, that's the last thing they're thinking about, is not laughing at something racist you said about yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't say racist things about others, but I'm saying things that happen to me racially, you should be able to laugh at, because it happened to me, not you. But some audience in different places will be like, this happened to all of us. Yeah. And we're not going to laugh.
Yeah.
I don't use the word woke, because I think woke, first of all, it's used wrong.
I
woke
totally
does not
agree
go,
with this,
woke
man.
woke is this is what black people used to say to each other about the cops. Hey, watch around the corner, stay woke. There's trouble around the corner.
Oh yeah.
Like
that's a
what
good
it really,
use of it.
Yeah, that's the real meaning.
Stay woke about that.
Now,
watch out.
Now Republicans, I gotta hand it, they're so good at grabbing words and just totally changing the definition of it and fitting their whole political platform. Now woke, it's like it's
I can't stand that word. It's one of my least favorite words. Honestly, I mean, dude, you're the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah.
I've thought the shit out of that. Every time I hear somebody call somebody else woke, or I'm like, dude, we're all fucking stupid humans.
Yeah.
Like, none of us are woke. None of us can possibly be woke.
But ask someone what woke means. They can't tell you. Like, if woke to the Republican Party, and I'm not making this political, is people that complain all the time, then you're doing the same thing, because every time I watch both Fox News and CNN and all that, because I want to know on both sides. They complain too. So why is that not called woke? It's like, if it's about complaining, but no one on that side will give you a definition of what woke is. And everybody's using it wrong. Even Republicans took Karen at one time and changed it to benefit them.
It's like another way of. It seems like it's another way of saying like snowflake or something. It's somebody soft, that's like soft or weak.
Weak, soft, complains a lot.
Complains.
But that's what the party's doing too. Both parties do that.
Both are. Yeah.
So the woke is used wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, my thing is that just by saying it implies you are wiser than someone else? Like if I'm saying you think you're woke, you think you know things, you think you have these weak ideas about something, it implies that I am
But that's
smarter
not
than
what it's.
you.
But that's not what it means. Like
But
that's not how it was originated.
yeah,
The origin.
no, I
But
totally
that's
get
what my
that.
point is.
Yeah.
They're great. I will hand it. They're great at taking words that don't even apply, or don't even make sense of what
Totally
they're using
no,
it at,
no.
and changing the definition of the word.
They use a tactic that's more about, that's better with like just going full bore on winning, manipulating.
Of course, but that's both sides. Both sides are appealing to their party, right? The problem is the Democrats are so weak. They just say it too. My thing is like, if you're going to say, don't say woke. Don't say woke. Why are y'all using that word? Just don't use it.
I don't know who use it. No, I don't. People don't use that word anymore.
They only say it in an argument.
Used in like that word was used by liberals maybe for 2 years, and like I don't know. I feel like it was. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like it was like 2016 and 17 or something.
I think it was only used on television. I've never seen a person go up to another person and be like, "Hey, man, you're too woke for me." Like that just doesn't happen in
or in a
normal conversation.
positive way. When have you ever heard be like somebody be like, "Oh man, I'm woke," or "You're woke"? Oh,
no.
Man, you're so woke. That's awesome.
I've
Nobody
never heard
uses it.
It's manufactured to fit the political agenda of whatever party, however they want to use it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why the word, when I hear woke, it's just like garbage. It's just like, it's like Karen. It's like,
to me, it's more than that, because it's like it's like what a kid does, right? I have a 15-year-old, right? When you're 15, all of us go through that, or even when you're in your early 20s, right? You think you know everything.
Yeah.
You think you have the answers to everything. That's really what they're saying, or people are saying woke. That's that's what woke is. So woke is like,
but that's not what it is. That's the definition they made of it, but the original word is not that.
Right. But I think that's what it is now. That's what it implies. And it's that analogy for me gets it home. Like a young person who just hasn't experienced life, and they're for certain about what they're talking about, right? But that's why I feel like when I look at a 15-year-old and they're telling me something they're certain of, and they know it's this way, I'm gonna look at them and I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna be like, you're woke, and want to condemn them for it. We've all been there, right? So you got to have a certain level of compassion. If you are have a really strong viewpoint about whatever, it's a weak tactic. It's a weak word to use. So for me, when you use that word, you're a fucking pussy.
Yeah, you
like that's how hard I am about it. I'm like, if you're gonna use that, you're actually a fucking coward.
Yeah,
because what you're doing is you're using a tool that is like, it's such a cheap shot. It's like a fucking shot.
I think it's an easy shot.
It's easy. But
it's so
cheap,
easy
man.
just to label a group woke.
Yeah.
It's like how much. But like I said,
it's such a cheap shot.
Yeah.
It's like I hate when you brought it up. I'm like, oh shit, he brought that up. We shouldn't talk about fucking pot.
No, it's fine.
Whatever.
But this one's gonna people gonna attack
that word.
Each
people
side.
Don't use the word fucking woke. Just don't fucking do it. It's a
so
stupid word. Unless you're going to use it like in the police are coming. Stay woke.
Well, my thing is like, just have a definition of what it means in what you're describing, and not just generalize everything as well. That's like me saying, not saying like here's the difference. If I say a joke about white people or black people or Asian people, and I go Asian people, I'm not talking about all Asian people. I'm talking about most Asian people. Yeah. But now you got to say most, or some Asians will be like, not all of us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you got to like woke. You can't just generalize everybody and say, oh, they're woke if they believe in this. You know, if they believe in complaining, like here's a big example. Is you remember when everybody on both sides was getting fired off of TV for saying things?
Yeah.
And they go, they're trying to take my freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And I go, well, no, because you said what you had to say. That was your freedom of speech.
Right.
So you're trying to take other people's freedom of speech by complaining about it.
Yeah.
So freedom of speech gets lost in, I should be able to say whatever I want to say with no consequence, but you shouldn't say what you want to say about me. And that's where it's a two-way street. Both sides don't get along. It's not about the country.
Yeah.
If you're in politics, it's more of a show now. It's more entertainment.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
entertainment. And I will say this. I don't think either side really cares about us. It's just a power grab. It's just
Yeah.
I really do.
Power.
It's power.
It's power.
It's no way either side makes $250,000 a year but living in $10 million mansions. Something's wrong. They got some inside secrets, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my thing.
And that's
I think
age old.
it's age old. But I also think in politics, it should be a certain number of years. You shouldn't be able to do politics all your life because that's where corruption happens. That's where you get deals under the table. Should be 8 to 12 years, then you're done.
Yeah.
Then the corruption will go way down.
Yeah.
If you knew you only had 8 years, like a president, or maybe 12, like when you have Supreme Court justices for the life, however long they live, do you know what's different when they started and if they've been at that seat for 50 years?
Yeah.
The world has changed and you haven't changed with it a lot of times. So I think everybody in politics should be 8 to 12 year rule and out.
I agree with that totally, but I think you know,
And get rid of lobbyists.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God, the fact that our country was not designed to have for lobbyists.
No, why should you have to have someone?
There's no
pay
checks
you?
and balances.
No.
In that.
If you're in Congress or Senate or anything, and you need someone to get paid to tell you what to think, then what? Like that's what.
No.
Do.
I mean, I don't know what all that was about. Like drain the swamp kind of thing, and like I thought that was get rid of all that kind of thing.
No,
but
it's a catchphrase. All of it's just bullshit.
It's the people that don't get what's happening. Like you say, it's about power, right?
Yeah,
it's
it.
The overriding human nature here is to like attain more power, secure more and more once you start getting it. And that nature is gonna drive things forward. And you need to move masses of people, and now in order to grab more and more power above anything else. So you can't give any one group or person too much power. We should all have, if we were thinking with our heads straight, we don't have to be that smart. I'm not fucking stupid as shit. Like, but I can see when somebody is trying to attain more power, and I can see that, hey, we're all human. You don't want anyone to get too much power.
No.
Right? Everyone needs to be checked. So the first red flag that you should have is, and it's not just, oh, this person has my viewpoints. Well, great that they're your viewpoints now, but when they change, what are you going to do? Or the next person that comes along that has the totally opposite viewpoints from you, and they're going to have the power to run things the way that they want to. And our whole country was founded, and the whole world followed suit based on this great thing that we were able to pull off for a while of some good checks and balances.
But most people can't pull that off. Most countries can't pull what we're pulling off. Here's what's interesting fact about America. It's one of the countries that have been around the shortest, but have the longest running consistent government. Way they do it.
Wait, can you say that again?
So our country is only 200 and something years old. Like 250?
Yeah, 250 something.
250 something. But it has the longest running way it's done government.
Okay.
Like the democracy.
Yeah.
Like the way government is ran has been consistent for those years, like for most of those years.
And there's no other country.
There's no other countries have been around longer, but it's always like, oh, we're this way, and then we went to a dictatorship, and now we're this. So they keep changing. Where America has been the only one with the longest running government, like the way they do government, but one of the shortest countries, shortest as in terms of years, countries that have been around. You know, so
that's interesting.
I
mean,
it works. It works, and we're making a big deal about this stuff today. But guess what? 50 years ago, they had problems that they think were just as big as what we think today.
Yeah.
It always gets passed. It always moves forward, and it always has people so engaged. And that's why I stopped watching 24-hour news.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it makes you hopeful when you hear that.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like, oh, this isn't the end of the world. But my question would be, was there the same level of power for individuals 50 years ago, 100 years ago, whenever you go through periods?
No, because they cared more about the country. Like when I was growing up, I would date women and wouldn't even know what party they were attached. Nobody cared about what party you voted for back then.
Sure. No.
Now it's used as a pawn. Now it's used as arguments. Now it's used as, oh, I like them because they're a Republican. It's not. It does. Politics does not bring the country together anymore. Politics is about I hate you, you hate me.
Right.
That's what it's used for now. It's used for 24-hour, and 24-hour news made it like this because they have to have something to talk about for 24 hours. And I'm talking about both sides. If I say a story and I need 9 people to tell you their opinions on that same story, that's not news. That's opinions.
Right.
You know, that's why I watch local news. Literally, local news would be like, Trump got shot in the ear, give you the facts, and then they're like, let's go back to the mall for the dog adoption. Like, that's where I need to be in my life.
So that's where you get your real news. Where I get local news.
Because it's big enough, if the story is big enough, it will break through local news. If it's not, it's just all BS that 24-hour news just regurgitates and talks about over and over. And that just if you watch it, I got to a point where I would get so angry that I was so combative with other people that didn't agree. And I was like, why is this? Because my brain is being filled with all this BS all day. I stopped 24-hour news like 3 years. The only reason I know about the things we talked about, because it's so big right now. Right? I know we're mad at Canada and they're the nicest people in the world. Like, that's dumb.
That is so crazy.
Because it's everywhere. Because it's everywhere.
Like,
so
that's the weirdest thing. I can't even wrap my head around that Canada thing.
No, it's like it's like you're the neighbor to Mr. Rogers, right? And you're the shitty neighbor to Mr. Rogers, and he's like, "Hey, how are you going? How you doing?" And you're like, "Fuck you," you know. It's like Mr. Rogers is the nicest dude, and we're those neighbors that are just like, we hate Mr. Rogers.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. It is, so here's the point, and then we got to get the fuck off of politics. Man. We got some other fun stuff to talk about with comedy and shit, but you know, I mean, I wish this is what I wish for people is like. Everyone, even if you're not that well educated, like someone like me, right? But I can think, right? And I can put effort in.
Yep.
That's really all I need, right? That's all I fucking need to make a decision. A good decision, maybe. Or at least a decision within a realm of probability that might be good. Good.
Well, to me, just use common sense.
Common sense. But it's like, okay, so if something's important, like a policy that changes the fucking world, or leaders that we want our kids to look up to that change the world, I need to make a good decision because I want to try at least to be a decent human, right? So then I got to put effort in, even if I'm not too smart.
Yeah.
And I got to look at all sides. I got to try to punch my ego back. I got to punch my biases back, right? Why aren't these things, if every one of us did that, it was just like, hold up, wait up. You
mean think?
This
for people to think?
Yeah, because this is trying to tell me one thing, fill my brain with know that, right? So I got to hold it at bay, right? A little bit. Maybe I'll take some information from it here. I'll take some other information from maybe the world news, BBC, somewhere else that doesn't.
But people don't go through that effort. See, you're asking for something. Yeah,
I'm asking, but why not? I'm asking
because they don't have. First of all,
check yourself.
A lot of people don't have time. They're struggling.
So you're just going to believe whatever from CNN or MSNBC or Fox? Or why? Why not? Why not go? I don't believe any of you first. I'll take it into consideration, but if it's important.
Well, I'm telling you why. They want to believe what they just have. They love echo chambers. They love repeat. Anytime I'm talking to someone about politics and they just say something an announcer says, you can tell like a bullet point, like a copy point. They're like, the conversation's over. Because they don't know anything about the subject. They're just saying what they heard on TV.
I'd rather just say, I don't know. I'd rather hear people say, I don't know, and let me, because this is important. If it's not important, if it doesn't make that much, whatever you're discussing or doing, if it's not that important, then it's okay to then be a little looser with.
Well, let me tell you this, and this is my thought on a lot of things. I think we get all up in arms over a lot of things we think are important. But in the long run, they're really not.
Yeah, but
because let me tell you,
I would love to believe that.
No, I do. Because look, Trump was president 4 years ago. Biden was president next. Trump's president again. And this time it's going to be shorter because when that 2-year mark hits, he's a lame duck president. They're going to have to replace him. Right? So now he's not important anymore, and they're going to move on from him.
Yeah.
So literally, he has about a year and a half before nobody's going to care about him. And is the world going to change? He can talk all he wants. Is it really going to change?
Maybe not. I mean, the one thing I would say to that is I hope that's, I mean, that's what we've always heard, right? It's like everybody thinks this is the most serious thing in the world,
don't.
and then time passes. But I think that you do, like, technology, AI
Yeah.
is going to help people grow their power more exponentially because they have access to
Yep.
potentially. And some crazy shit is coming out. I mean, fucking robots that are, like walking like humans now.
Well,
and like,
AI that can make people look like you and sound like you, make videos of you.
So you can
saying
control
all kinds of
and
stuff.
clearly, like we've already talked about, the mass. This is what worries me. The masses seem to not want to put the effort in to think themselves or to be question everything. I mean, this is the biggest thing that I tell my kids. I'm like, yeah, you're going to be in this, but know that it can influence you. This can influence me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can have fun and fuck around, but when shit is important, I need to stop in this new world.
100%.
I need to not believe. I need to do as much work as I can, put as much effort as I can if I need to make an important decision. But that's what worries me, is that the masses can be easily influenced and they don't even know they're being influenced.
But they've always been like that.
They've always been like that, but now you have technology coming out at a rapid pace
100%.
that I think, and again, the game is power. Power is the game. It's like, man, I remember hearing like Dr. Phil ask, I think he was asking Trump, like, why do you do this? You could be on a beach somewhere, relax. And I remember just thinking to myself, dude, Dr. Phil, man, you're a smart guy. Isn't the question like, damn, you want to go down as like the most powerful human ever, right? You're consolidating power. Like, that's the answer clearly, right? Is like, you want Trump to be the brand of the universe, right?
Well, yes, because I was with a international superstar at a restaurant, very nice restaurant, and he was saying, what do you think really rich people want? Money or fame? And I go, money. He goes, no, because that's why they drive the expensive cars. They want people to know they have money. So we're in a restaurant, and he goes, you know what rich people hate? That we're all eating the same food right now, and nobody knows they're rich. He said, that's why so many rich people want to be famous, because then you know they're rich, and then you know they have power.
Yeah.
The problem is so many people that have a lot of money's ego, because if you're super rich, like a Trump or just anybody, why would you even want to be famous?
Yeah.
But it's about power. It's about people knowing, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm powerful and I got a lot of money. Now we live in a society where if you're like that and you're showy, you'll get a lot of attention and that's good or whatever. But this is 10 years ago. I was talking to this guy. We were having dinner. And he goes, people would rather be famous than rich. He goes, most people. Because when you're famous, you don't need money. You get everything for free. They want you to have it.
Yeah.
They want to get you into places.
Yeah.
And
I bet that feeds on itself. Like,
it does.
like your ego grows, and like that's why I think like it's easy to say when you don't have a lot of money or power, because I'd imagine if I've suddenly got a whole lot of money and power, things would fucking change. I would have to put put checks and you got to put checks and balances on yourself, on your ego, on your biases. How do you? But I think that's what we need to do before we fuck everything up. We need to like we as a people be like, if we want to like do good and like keep growing and improve like everything, let's first step back and like empower ourselves. Like I keep going back to that. If
I
every
agree with
person
you 100%.
knew like hey, it's on me to be like the best
I agree.
thinker I can be.
I agree
person
with
I can
you.
Be.
But people don't want to do that. And you can wish that all you want, but people don't want to do it.
Do they not?
No.
I don't know, man. I just like I think deep down,
no.
Don't we all want to be like
no,
like
do you understand?
Fulfilled?
Do you understand
like
more people?
Realized? Like, don't we want to die on our deathbed knowing like fuck, I fucked up a lot, but I
But they think they did right. You understand? Like on their deathbed, they think they did the right thing. They honestly do. I listened to this echo chamber, and they were 100% right all the time. And if you went against it, it was false. And that's what they're happy with.
Yeah.
Like people are happy with just believing. I mean, not to bring religion in, but look at religion, right? Like I believe in God, but if you look at it, people are like, okay, that's your echo chamber. People are going to die going, I'm going to go to heaven because I've been a good person and I believe.
Right.
That's just a different form of an echo chamber. So you're just repeating what you've heard, whether talk about no proof. You got a book from a long time ago that could be real, could be not real, right? And you just hope that when you die, you go to a better place. Now, I love religion. I think it's caused more death than anything, but I also feel it keeps people in check to a certain point, because every civilization that didn't have religion cannibalized each other, So religion plays its part, and people just want to know.
Is that true? Every society
that didn't have a religion cannibalized itself. So it's kind of like a thing where you hope, if you believe like I do, I believe because it just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I want something better, and it helps me live a good life, and I don't mind people believing in something that makes them better. Now, when it comes to bringing that into politics, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say you're religious, but then believe in a person has all the bad tendencies and does a lot of things your religion wouldn't support.
Sure.
Right? So religion now becomes political. That's what I don't like. But it makes me feel good. It makes my family feel good.
Well, we've succeeded with that in our country for a long time, the separation of, church and state.
Yeah, but now it's always been a piece of our thing. Well, I'm
like you run on it being like,
I believe in God. It's a big thing. And it shouldn't matter.
Right.
If you believe in God, it's just, do you believe to make the country better place? Whether you believe in God or not shouldn't matter if you can make the country a better place.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. It's just like, to me, everything's blown out of proportion. It's going to be the same. And you can see from Trump last time, it was fine after he left. Biden came in. It's going to be the same. And guess what? When Trump's gone, there'll be like a little mini Trump, and there'll be a different version of him, whoever that is. And then there'll be a different version of Biden, and then there'll be a different version of Barack, and then there'll be a different version of Hillary. So it's ridiculous. It'll just keep going around and round and round with the same type of people. And it's fine. It's fine. Nothing. That's why I don't get stressed about it.
Unflappable, man.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about. It's fun to be like, this is dumb.
You get up in arms.
Yeah, this is dumb. This is stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't, But guess what? If you went back 50 years ago, we'll be talking about some president like, can you believe this?
Oh, totally. Like the end of the world is coming.
It's the end of the world, And like literally, they were talking like this since politics began.
Yeah. But that's why I love these. That's why I love these conversations, because it's like you got to remind yourself of these things every once in a while. It's a good coping mechanism. If anything, you're going to get. Ultimately, it's like we can't have the answers for much of anything. We can choose to believe in something, whatever it is, religion or just a philosophy, a way of life, and that can help us. But that's just a choice.
Yeah.
And to get us through, we can't know anything for certain.
Look, conspiracy theories are so big today. People want to believe stuff that's not real.
Because you want to believe in something.
Yeah.
And find something that, this is the answer. This is the why.
Like when people say, aliens are real. Okay, let's say they were. Okay, now what? Like, how does that change your life? Like, what are you going to do now? If for all these alien conspiracists that they're real, okay, they are. Now what are you going to do? Now what?
Yeah.
What happens? Nothing. What happens? Nothing changes. Nothing changes. We're like, okay, there's other beings. Hopefully they don't mess with us.
Yeah.
But like all these what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Nothing. Nothing.
Well, I think the only thing that changes is like you change your perspective a little bit. You may if you believe in something, you may expand that belief.
But these people, how is it going to change their perspective? They already believe.
Oh yeah, conspiracy.
Like it would change mine. Sure. I'll be like, oh wow, there are aliens. Yeah. Okay, great. I keep it moving. Okay.
Yeah.
Go about my day.
Make a joke about them.
Make a joke about it. Okay. They're not here. They don't want to be here. They kind of check us out and leave. Okay, great. Let me know when there's a problem. Like seriously, that would be I guarantee. I think they even announced there was some type of alien life form like during COVID, and nobody even cared. I think that was I think some news said that like, they've identified like not aliens, but like
There was a period where it was like they had a lot of footage from or there was like that thing in space that looked like it was like a rock and it looked like
whatever,
a spaceship or
But if you want to believe in it so bad, okay, believe in it. Okay, great. Yeah. And if they came on the news today and said there's aliens, guess what? Nothing would happen. We would all live. We're like, wow, did you hear there are aliens? And that would last about a week. And then somebody would say something crazy, and then we're like, the Kardashians did this. Can you believe? Maybe they're aliens.
Yeah.
You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Dude, I wish more people had your philosophy, like overarching philosophy of that, because it's like, you know, then we can push hard on our points and our opinions about politics or whatever else, about how to do anything, how to do comedy, how to do, you know, and then we could zoom out. You know, we can still be passionate about and then take yourself really seriously, you know? Yeah. But then you can zoom out and go and realize this is just cycles of shit.
It's cycles. It's cycles.
And then it enables you to relax and have a good time, man.
And that's why, but it all happened when I got away from 24-hour news 3 years ago. Because then after you pull back, you're like, why am I watching this? Why do I care that much?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, and people are like, well, you should care, it's your country. But guess what? It's always, no matter what, 20 years from now, there's going to be something that we disagree about with the other party. And you're like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy.
I got into I'm sure a lot of people did, but before the elections, I got into a really dark place of like, just my brain was so filled with all the commentary on both sides, on every, you know.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I just did my vote. Found out he won. I was like, all right.
Lucky you, man. That was just...
See, but like my comment on you is, why do you let yourself get wrapped into it?
No.
Because when you pull back, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like Trump is president. Doesn't matter. He's going to do his thing, and then another guy's going to do their thing, and then another guy or woman's going to do their thing. And then it's just, we're always, if you live in that echo chamber of 24-hour news, you're always going to have something to complain about, because that's how they draw people in, fear. They want to make sure that you're scared of something. I remember I interviewed Barack Obama, right?
You did?
Yeah. It was a radio interview during his election, his re-election. And I'm a top 40 radio DJ, right? But my show was in Miami. It was the biggest show in Miami. So, of course, swing state, swing votes, whatever, got him on the phone. And my first question, this is when he lost the first debate to Kerry. You remember he got throttled by Kerry the first. I think it was Kerry.
John Kerry. I think so.
I think, right? Okay. So he got beat that first debate, and the first thing I came out with, and it was I'm a top 40 DJ, not a political guy. And I go, hey, let's clear it up. Let's get the elephant out the room. Can you restore the relationship with Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey on American Idol? And he laughed, right? He laughed because that was a big story too.
Yeah.
Fox News the next day, because Barack made a joke about it, and they go, can you believe, like, this is how news is, can you believe Barack Obama did this interview and talked about American Idol where all these problems are in the country? And I'm like, you see, that's how they work. This was a 7-minute interview, and I did drill him with some real hard political questions. I asked him why he lost to Kerry, and he goes, well, I didn't lose. I go, no, you did. You did. Yeah, I mean, everybody pretty much agrees, and he answered that. I go, why didn't you bring up certain stuff? So I asked them hard questions, but they got the question that they could run with, that they could be like, oh, like it was their version of tan suit again. It's like, oh, tan suit. How can a president wear a tan suit? You know, that was a big deal. Yeah. And this was, how could he talk about American Idol? And I've seen it. If you Google Barack Obama, Michael Yo, all Fox News clips dogging him about talking about American Idol. Well, that was a funny little question I asked. So things, even back then, this was like 12, 13 years ago, gets just taken, and then it's clickbait. Right. Even back then. Right. That interview was not about American Idol.
So I guess you got to learn how to not let that bother you if people are gonna if it's accessible to anybody.
Don't read it.
Yeah.
Like I just pay like on Instagram. Here's what's crazy. My wife, I'm always on it, but I only read my feed. Only check up on things I'm promoting on all my. I hardly ever look at anything else unless somebody tags me. Right?
Yeah, because it's not worth the risk of getting wrapped up in it and having it affect your day, right?
Yeah. Like, that's my thing is like, that's what phones do. And I love phones. Don't get me wrong. It's like, we all want to get away from it, but I know I can't.
Yeah.
But I also know it's the way life is. And I'm not going to get wrapped up to it because nothing's too serious.
Yeah.
You know, unless we get in a war.
Right.
And yes, With any president, that could happen. Let's be honest. You got one that talks a lot of crap. It could happen. You got one that's quiet and just does his business. It could happen. Who knows?
We could be at war with Canada soon.
Who knows? Who knows? We could take over Greenland. Who knows, right? Whatever they want to do. But in the long run, it doesn't matter because it all works itself out. And I believe one day this country will be a dictatorship because it's going that way. Every empire falls. Every empire falls. It's just a matter of time. So that's my thinking. It's just a matter of time before we have probably not in our lifetime, but there is a time America will be a dictatorship.
Sure.
It's just going that way. And it will be a dictatorship I believe most of the people want because they'll be like, yo, like just think how we think right now. Say this goes on for another 30 years like this, just both parties going back and forth. One day there's going to be a guy that's a beacon of light or a woman that's a beacon of light and people going, that's the person. And everybody's in agreement with them.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, we need to stop this. This is ruining the country. But see, I'm fine with that too. I don't care. I don't care because I probably won't be around for it.
Yeah.
But that's the way it's going. I'm letting you know now, that's the way it's going.
Yeah, of course. I mean, cycles, they go like that. The only thing that I would push back in my idealistic way of thinking would be that, okay, if we all thought like that, though, if
thought like what?
If we all thought like, if we all just make the choice of like, I can't do anything necessarily. I'm not going to listen. This is just to play devil's advocate here. Great, I think it's healthy because you just enjoy your life, you enjoy your family, you do your work, and you're not paying that much attention to who's taking power.
No, I don't pay attention to the echo chambers. I pay attention, just not to the 24-hour news.
Yeah.
I have my sources where I get reliable stuff for me. I know what's going on, but I don't get wrapped up. What real news doesn't make a person angry. It's just factual. What makes people angry is 9 people giving their opinions. Yeah. Opinion news gets you angry. But real facts, Trump got shot in the ear. We're trying to figure out who's the culprit. We don't know. We're hearing he's on a roof. Yeah. How does that make you mad? Trump got shot in the ear. Oh, it's got to be a liberal because only liberals would do stuff like this.
Yeah, that inflames everything.
So then it flames, and
that's what makes money, right? That's because the TV shows or the news stations are making money off that. But what it's sacrificing is like it's driving chaos everywhere, right?
But chaos. But they're about money.
Yeah,
fear. Like if we're in a crowd, and somebody just walks out of a crowd, nobody cares. If you're in the middle of a crowd and somebody runs out that crowd. Yeah. Everybody's like, what's happening? All right. And that's what fear is.
I think we're getting to the bottom of this, dude. We're figuring this shit out. Look, fear and chaos, if you see anybody trying to generate it, it's like eating cake, right? Yeah. You can't eat too much cake. Eat a little bit of it and then stop because that's fueling them, right? That's fueling the power, right? Yeah. And it's going to work against you. So stop eating the fucking cake.
Stop eating the. Mr. Barack Obama says, "Stop eating the cake.
Stop eating the cake, people.
Be full.
Jesus.
Hello.
So good, man.
I'm very happy to be here today. Anyway,
dude, do you still do that impersonation on tour?
Sometimes it depends. Like I'll do it tonight because I'm in Chicago. Yeah, I got a new joke about. I can say it because this will come out. But I go, Trump's president, and in Chicago, you'll get a certain response. Then I go, man, Mexicans are scared. I went to the Bean today. It was gone. I said, where'd it go? They go, it got deported. So, that's a funny joke for Chicago.
Fucking Bean.
You like that one? That's funny, right? Yeah. That's a funny joke, man. So I thought about that when I saw the Bean earlier. I was like, oh, that's great.
That is a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. The Bean got deported. So you're a family man.
100% family man.
I was looking you up before this podcast a little bit, and I saw some pictures of your family. You have a stunning looking family.
Oh man,
it's like the picturesque, like it's beautiful storybook family.
Oh, I love it too, man. This is everything I dreamed of. I remember when I met my wife on the first day. I was like, this is her. I knew.
How long have you guys been married?
We just celebrated 9 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I knew from the moment I met her, I knew it was something. Didn't know she was a one till about a weekend, and then we were inseparable. It was just like, they say you know when you know.
Yeah.
And it was just like instant. Like her personality, she so kind, just selfless, just such an amazing person that I've ever been around. And I was like, oh, I need her in my life.
Yeah.
And she was going through a point where she was just, looking for a good guy. Like, I was lucky.
Yeah.
Like, she's beautiful. And I knew everything I thought she would be, she is.
That's so
100%.
great, man.
Oh, man. Like, I knew she was going to be a phenomenal mom. I knew she was going to be this or that. And she's all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got 2 healthy kids.
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
8 and 5.
Wow.
Yeah, they're great. They're amazing. I mean, it's a lot of work. And that's what's great about comedy. You get to talk about that work you're doing. Like how you never get a break anymore. Like my friend told me when we had our second kid, he goes, if you have 2, you can have 10. Because you're always doing something. They don't sleep at the same time. They're always, you're always moving. You're taking one to something and you're taking one to another.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, oh, you could have 10. You'll be taking 5 to this and so you're always moving, so it doesn't matter the amount of kids after 2. And let me tell you, 2 kids is a lot harder than 1. Like, way harder. Like if we just had 1, my son would be 8 and so easy, just chill. But now we have a daughter that's 5 that likes to mix it up with the brother. I mean, they're very kind to each other, but they also she likes to pick on him.
Yeah.
Because my son is super strong and she's very small, but she always picks on him. She's very manipulative. She knows how to work it.
She's using the power that she has
Yes,
available to her.
And like she'll get him to bump into her and then she'll be like, "Wah," and I'm like, "Oliver," and yeah. Like she knows she knows how to work the system.
Yeah. I feel like the younger does that. My son does that too. To my daughter's the older one. But it goes fast, man. My kids are now 15 and 12, about to be 16 and 13.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it.
Like my thing is like as a comic and traveling, I've never had this much fear always when I'm gone. There's this fear that I have that something's going to happen to them when I'm gone and I'm not close.
Yeah.
And that probably never goes away.
No, dude. It's
no matter where they are. I'm like, even if they have to go drive to something at night, I'm like, maybe can we not drive at night, especially when I'm not there? Like, I just don't want anything to happen.
Yeah, I know. The thing is the more that you love them,
yes,
the more that is present, and you just have to. That's the hardest thing, man. Is like for me at least is like because you can start to get to a point where you're just like, fuck, I can't be so worried. I can't have these thoughts.
I do though.
Anxiety,
crazy thoughts.
Crazy,
like movie thoughts. Like, this could be like, I have those all the time, and I dream about it. Like when I'm gone, it's like I'm obsessed with just trying to be there for my family, and it's exhausting. Like I'm exhausted trying to be out on the first flight, but I know once I land and get to see him, it's all worth it. Yeah. But my wife also doesn't put pressure. She's like, why don't you take the later flight? I'm like, no. And I think, and I'll put this pressure on myself, and maybe I should slow down a little bit, but
if you can do it.
Yeah.
It's not
love it though.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I flew here.
I was like crazy, man.
But I was like, well, honestly, but this was before the podcast. I had these flights before the podcast, and I was like, why am I waking up at 4:00 to make an hour-and-a-half flight when I can just fly in at like 2:00? But then my mind is like, oh, well, what if that flight misses? Then you're gonna miss. I'm always thinking like, oh, something's gonna happen. Like that's my mind right now.
Good on you. You're unique, especially with I love comedians, man.
Yeah.
They're here all the time. But most comedians are not like that.
Oh, I'm a hustler.
Most comedians are like not they are putting it off too. They'll swoop in and show up sometimes like showtime's at 7:15.
Yeah.
They're walking in the door at 7:14, It's like they just got off the flight.
Oh yeah.
Like damn, you guys are cutting it close.
Yeah.
I
don't mind doing that, but it's also a thing where it's just, I don't know. I'm always cautious, because I've been on flights that get delayed, and I've ran into shows like literally at stage time at like, not when the show started, but like when my time on stage started, like literally 2 minutes before that. I mean, they would have held it a little bit, but it's kind of like the show starts at 7. you land at 6:45 and you make it there by 7:20, 7:25, and then you're on at 7:30.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling, but with comedy, it's no problem. Like, I could do it, but, I like to be more settled in, chill.
Yeah, it can affect things negatively.
It can.
Like, because then things are unpredictable. You never know what's
100%.
going to hit you that could throw you, right?
Yeah.
Something could happen where if it all works out perfectly, it's very like raw and just.
But I also feel at those times it's mechanical. You become that first show, it's just you want to get through it.
Yeah.
So it's a very mechanical show when you're rushed. And you're kind of like, all right, let me stick to the page. I'm not going to have fun. Let's just end this show.
Yeah.
And the second one, you kind of like, in between shows, you catch your breath. You're like, all right, let's have fun.
Yeah.
So that first show it's more of get it over with. I mean, give them a great show, but let me just stick to format.
Yeah.
Are
you good at planning?
As in
like you got your tour planned out. Are you thinking months ahead? Like, do you have someone to help you with that? Or you are
William Morris booked Sylvia Lund's my agent, so he's booked that up through June or July. But it's also some things moving around. I will say this: I plan in the way of, all right, what other opportunities are there that I can take off some dates to do this, right? Because we're working on something with a Cirque show that I might have to take a month off of touring, but it's something I've always wanted to try.
Cirque du Soleil show?
Yeah, where they want me to be a headliner for the month, put me on billboards and all that stuff. So I'm like, that's a great opportunity if we can work it out. And I would lose a month of dates, but then those summer-ish dates would get moved to the fall, which is a better time anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
summer dates are hard.
Yeah. So it's looking for those opportunities where it's like, okay, this is a good month to take off. Move those. And look for other opportunity, because my thing is I love comedy, but I also am a person that always has his hands in a bunch of different things. So if one thing goes away, I always have something else. I don't think comedy will go away because it's only growing, but I like my hands in different things.
Yeah. No, it seems like the comedy is sort of like the fundamental thing.
Yes.
Is
it's the baseline. It fuels everything else.
And everything else kind of fuels that. Like your podcast is fueling that, your other stuff like with Cirque.
Everything I do, even on TV, like if I get offered a drama role, I'll be like, I usually pass it up because I want something to, my job, I feel like everything I do needs to support my comedy, because comedy is where you make your money, right? I don't want to be on CSI because me as a serious character is not going to get people to buy tickets for me.
Right.
Nobody's going to be like, hey, let's go see this serious guy at a comedy club. Yeah. But put me in a sitcom where I kind of play myself. Yeah, I'll play that all day. Or a funny role that supports my comedy. It's great because I used to be known as a host, so people would go like, since I hosted so many different shows, they would go, he's a host and comedian. And that would kill me. Now it's just comedian. So everything, even when I host, you have to let me be myself 100% of the time. Like, I'm funny. I get to have fun on TV. I'll never do a serious hosting show. It's always got to be me and my personality, because that will drive people to my stand-up.
That's interesting. And because it seems like you don't have a great interest in like developing an acting career with a serigive role.
Not
like,
a serious role. No, but
much.
Sitcom, and like if it's a serious movie role, but give me 10 years on a CSI show, sound miserable. You would make a lot of money, but it would sound miserable to me because it's not building my brand as a comic.
Right.
Because my goal is to be big doing what I love, which is comedy. And any role you take, for me, should bring people to a comedy show.
Totally. Well, so I was asking about the planning too, just to jump back to that real quick with when you're with your family, who does the sort of like family trip planning? Like, does your wife do all that stuff?
Yeah, she tells me where we're going, and I help out where she needs me, but she's great at it. She knows, and also she knows I'm not a good planner. Yeah. Like, honestly,
I'm not either. That's what I was asking, man.
I didn't know where I landed today. Like, literally, I was going through the airport, and I know places where I am by airports. I walked in, I go, oh, this is Chicago. Because I saw a restaurant that's only like in the airport, or I noticed the terminal. Like, literally, I fly this is my third flight, like third different city in a row. So it's kind of like New York, this, that. And I'm like, oh.
Do you ever wake up and you don't know where you are?
I don't know where I am. I've gotten to a point where I travel so much, I walk to my front door and try to use a key from a hotel to open the door. I was like, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm at my house. So that's
That's the life, man.
It's a life, but
That's
it's a life you dream of,
Yeah.
right? And I'm living it, so now it's like 100%. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, congrats, and dude, and then you got this awesome family. So with your kids, because I think about this a lot, or I've started to. What is one of the most important things you would want to impart to, let's say, your son? Like if what's the most? Maybe it's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like don't take things too seriously. I don't know. Like what is the thing that you'd want?
Well, I think
to know.
I think the lesson he's learning now, because my son has my wife's heart. Like he's so kind, so considerate, and he gets very upset when someone doesn't like him. And my biggest thing to him right now, as an 8-year-old, is if somebody doesn't like what you like, it's okay. If somebody doesn't like you, that's okay. Because certain kids aren't going to click with other kids.
Yeah.
And my son gets so upset because he's so nice to everyone.
Yeah.
He's like, why can't they be that bad? He doesn't understand the world of like, oh, if I'm nice to you, you can be mean to me. He doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he's learning that.
Yeah.
And he has me to talk to about that, because we try to preach to him, hey, be kind to everyone. But he has to understand that's not going to happen. Like, people are not going to be kind to him.
In the world, depending on what situation you end up in, it could be tougher than
And he needs to learn
others,
that.
so.
And so I'm not saying I'm glad that's happening, but I'm glad he's learning that's not, and it's my job to be like, hey, don't worry about other people's opinions because your opinion and all that matters to you. If somebody doesn't like something you're doing, and I'm not talking about anything bad, but if somebody doesn't want to go to a movie that you love and you want to bring them to, then, it's okay. Not everybody's going to agree with you all the time, so that's what we're kind of installing right now. And just my thing with him, just be a great person.
Yeah.
Like every morning when I drop him off from school, we have this routine. I go, what are you? He goes, great. I go, what are you going to do? He goes, change the world. And I go, OLI. And he goes, VER, which is Oliver. And then I go, Oliver. And he goes, I'm the best. And so we do that every morning before I drop him off.
No way.
Yeah, every morning. So
he's 8, right?
He's 8.
Oh, man, just wait till he's 12. He'll be like, Dad, shut up.
I know, probably so. He's already sometimes like, Dad, stop. Yeah. I remember the other day I walked him.
He's going along with it, man, right now. Props.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's helping him too.
100%.
If he gets home and he's like, not like, I don't want to go to school. That's like the sign that you don't want to hear. If it's like, I don't want to go to school, but if he's coming home and he's like, not, I mean, kids don't have to be like I can't wait to go to school, but
he loves school. He loves school.
That's awesome, man. You're doing a good job then.
Yeah, we're trying.
What about your daughter? What are one of the things
She is
you wanna...
like 5 and a princess. Like, I know you hear that a lot from little girls, but she like knows how to work it. She knows how to manipulate. She knows like this little girl is going to be trouble. Like, I already know. Like, she's going to be trouble, but she's amazing. Like, she's independent. She's kind of like me. Because I was an only child. She has that only child mentality. We'll be in the living room having a good time. She'll just leave and go play in the playroom for like an hour by herself. She loves her alone time. She's like me. I love my alone time too.
Yeah.
My son, Cuddlebug, wants to be around somebody 24/7. My
really?
daughter could care less. Except when she sleeps in the bed with me and my wife. So except for that, she doesn't cuddle. She doesn't want you to hold her. She doesn't want you to tell her she's pretty. She doesn't want you to like coddle her at all. She's rough. Like other day, a guy bumped into her at church. She's 5. She goes, hey, watch out or I'm going to hit you in the nuts. I'm like, what? I go, where'd you learn that? She goes, school. I go, what are they teaching you at school? Like, she's rough.
In a way, you're like, oh, you can't do that. And then you're like, awesome.
You can do
you're
that.
Like, yes.
Yeah. And the guy was like, whoa. She goes, you don't have to worry about her.
Yeah, you don't have to watch out
not.
for her. That's awesome, man. Dude, we could go on, but I feel like we should wrap up here.
I gotta take a nap.
We've gone on. Yeah. Thanks for getting.
Yeah.
You're a rock star, man. You flew in super early this morning. Did you get to go to your hotel and
yeah? Well, the room wasn't ready, so by the time it should be ready now.
So you just swung by here. Thank you for sitting down with me with this, and I can't wait for tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do two shows.
Yeah.
Rock it out. It's always a pleasure having you here, man. I would love to have you doing a special one day if you wanted to.
Oh, no, we will. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. And I'm excited. My feature act, he travels with me at Rudy. This is his first time here, and I told him how great the room is. So I'm excited to watch him do this room because it's so good. It's so good. You've created a monster here. I mean, through the industry, everybody's like, it's the best room. One of the best rooms in the country.
Thanks, Michael. That means a lot, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for doing this.
Buddy.
And we'll talk soon.
Yep.
All right.